Hey guys, Tyler here, and today we're going to be taking an up-close look at the Montech X3 PC case, and this one is in the white version. So straight off the bat, we're going to see that this is a very easy to work with PC case, and you can tell just because I just opened up the entire side panel with only just pulling this little string on the side. Inside, we do come with RGB fans. There's one on the back, two on the top, and three on the side. So this one on the back is exhaust as well as the two on the top, and then all these front three are all intakes. And that all means that airflow should be flowing very, very nicely. Over on the side, there is 7 PCIe slots. And as for size in the inside, there is slots for a full ATX motherboard. You can either do in micro, mini, or like I said, in full ATX board. We also have the vents on the bottom, so power supply should be getting adequate airflow. Not only is there intake air be able to go through the mesh side on the front, but there is also side for intake on the side right here in this little, whatever you would call it. But for now, let's close this back up and let's take a look at everything else. So if we flip her on their side right now, we can see the front right now. You can see it has this almost I think it's called polygonic or polygonal. It has this polygonal feel or shape to the front of this case. It is all mesh, so airflow should be going right through all these holes. We can take a look at the back and we can see that there's more intake vents on the side. And then as for taking the actual back cover off, we just unscrew these screws on the sides, one on the top, one on the bottom. Set those to the side, and then we can just pull, and it slides right off. So this is my first time looking at this case. As you can see, the fan connectors are massive. This thing is beefy, but it comes with 6 RGB fans. Why would you not be excited for basically free intake and outtake? So that's free airflow. Why complain about that? Now, first look, the cables aren't nicely, I guess, managed. I mean, you're going to be putting more cables in here so you can manage it yourself. These are, I guess, just very temporary. It's very messy, but again, it's not going to be a permanent thing unless you don't care about how your PC looks like on the back. So we can see that it does come with two 2.5-inch SSD slots or SATA drives. So you can store SSDs right here. I'm sure you just take these screws off, screw it back in, you're all set. We have the manual that comes with down at the bottom, as well as that in that little space down there you can store a 3.5-inch hard drive. And with the manual, it comes with the baggie. It also in the baggie comes with lots of screws, so those are going to be the screws that you put in the motherboard if you want to adjust where the motherboard goes, all that jazz. Let's put that back in. We have all our cables ready for it to plug into the motherboard, whether it's the audio, LEDs, powers, connectors, anything you want, it has. So let's go ahead and put this back on, and that just slides right in. So now if we flip it up on its front so you can see the back, we can see that we have our motherboard slot right here. We have our outtake fan right here. This is going to be blowing outwards. And then we scoot it up a bit and we can see our 7 PCIe slots right here. More than likely you will probably only will be using. And then we can see right here we have all 7 of our PCIe slots. You'll probably only be using about 2 to 3 of them unless you have a beefy graphics card. You might be using a bit more, but that's all case by case scenario. And then if we flip it over to the side, we can see that this is where the power supply is going to be facing outwards. So where you press the actual power button and all that, it will be right here. And now real quick, if we look at the bottom, we can see that there is 4 stilts that have the little like rubber on these sides, so it won't be scraping against your table or anything or whatever it's placed on. We also have an outtake for the power supply right here as well. And then we flip it over to the top real quick so you can see. Kind of hard to see just because I don't want to hit the camera, but it does have this mesh little cover that you can take off, which is magnetic. You can see our 2 outtake fans right here, and then you can just slap that on because it's magnetic. And what's cool is that if we're facing the front right now, so over here where my left hand is, that is the front. Over here is the back. So connectors wise, looks like we have a power supply port. We have 2 little LEDs to tell you what is going on. We have an actual LED button. It looks like we have a refresh button or reset. I'm not sure exactly. I'd have to look into it. We have a USB 3.0 port. we have two USB 2.0 ports, we have an audio jack and a microphone jack.